Hello, and welcome back to another one of Mr. Burston's video tutorials. This tutorial is covering Inventor 02, Revolve. Again, as always, open up Inventor, hit File, hover over New, and click Part. Today we are going to be working on using the Revolve function of our 3D modeling software. We are also going to look at some new tools in the Sketch window. You just need to wait to get a new part. There we go. As always, you should start in sketch mode, but if you don't, you can always start a new sketch by clicking sketch mode up here, 2D sketch. I click on that, I'm going to click my favorite plane, the XY plane. Today I'm going to be having a little fun with this. I'm going to be making kind of a little scene, if you will. We're going to assume that tiny aliens have come to Earth and that they are going to pick up our cups. No good scene like this is complete without a UFO, energy beams, and a cup, all of which can be done using the Revolve function. Let's start with the cup. Very first thing I'm going to select is the line tool. Now I'm going to make this cup somewhat dimensionally accurate, but first things first, I'm going to make the basic shape of my cup. I'm going to start my line in the center. When I'm using the line tool, I don't have to click and hold. Once I click once, I can move this wherever until I click again. When I do, it's going to keep making lines until I click, 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 and bring it all the way back to the beginning. Let's make the basic shape and outline of a cup here. Follow along with my movements, pause if you need to, in order to keep track of what I'm doing. There I have the basic shape of a cup. I'm now going to use my dimension tool, and I'm going to dimension between these two lines, and I'll say that I want this to be 0.1 inch thick. I'm also going to do the same with these two over here. 0.1 for inches. Then I'm going to say that I want this line here to be, we'll say, 4 inches high. There we go. Here's a new feature of the dimension tool. What if I click on two lines that are not directly across from each other? Well, if I do that and they are connected by a single point, then I'm going to be defining the angle of that line. Let's set this to exactly 100 degrees. And with that, I'm pretty happy. I don't really want to fully constrain this. I think this looks good as is. I'm going to go ahead and, well, actually there is one more thing I'd like to do. I'd like to go ahead and define how big this bottom portion is. Let's just make this 1 inch, because this will end up being my radius of the cup. So again, you should have a shape similar to this now on your screen, fully dimensioned out. I'm going to hit Finish Sketch. Now here's where the magic comes in. I'm going to hit the Home button so that I see the whole thing. I'm going to go to the Revolve tool. Now the Revolve tool sees that I only have one sketch on the screen, so it should automatically select it. And I should see that it is looking for this button right here, Select Axis. You want to make sure that there is a blue line underneath Select Axis to make sure that you are working with that. The last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click the bottom of this cup right here, right on this line. And there we have it. I have myself a cup. All I have to do now is hit OK. With our cup in place, let's go ahead and start working on the rest of our UFO. I'm going to start another 2D sketch, but I have a problem. I can't see the original 3 planes that I started working with in order to make another sketch on the same plane, as I really do like my XY plane, my front plane, and I'd like to make another sketch on it. Well, not to worry. I can come over here to the origin file, click the plus button next to it, and then click on XY plane. Now I'm making another sketch on the XY plane again. Let's make my UFO above my cup. Again, I'm going to use the line tool. Let's make a UFO that looks a little something like this. It's going to look like it's from the 1950s. All right. I'm going to come down here, make it like this. Then we'll have a portion under here like this. The important part here is that we complete my shape. So I'm going to connect my line back to the beginning. When my line tool stops working, that means I have completed my shape. Notice that we've been making only half of the things that we've been doing. First I made half of the cup, now I've only made half of this UFO. The Revolve tool helps us out here because the Revolve is going to take this and revolve it around this axis right here that we made in the middle. Let's go ahead and finish the sketch. Let's hit our home button so that we see everything. Let's click Revolve. Once again, it selects our sketch for us. Then we just need to select the axis. There we go. Now I have my UFO sitting above my cup. Looks pretty menacing so far, but no UFO is complete without energy beams beaming the cup up. So let's start another 2D sketch. Again, I'm not immediately seeing that plane. I can go over to the origin file, click the plus button if it's not already clicked, and click the XY plane. Now what I can do is I'm going to make a series of circles to make my energy beams. Let's see how this is going to look. We'll start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles. Now I'm going to go ahead and dimension these as well, but first things first, I need a single line. I'm not going to connect this line to anything else, I'm just going to make a line right down the middle. That is going to serve as my axis. My circles will revolve around the axis. So I'm going to make a line that goes from here, we'll say to about here. It really doesn't matter how long it is, just as long as it's easy to click. Then as I try to continue making a line, Inventor wants to keep making lines, but I don't want to. So I hit the escape key in the corner in order to stop making lines. Now I want to dimension all of these circles. I'm going to hit the dimension key, click on this, and we'll say that I want each of these at 1.5 inches. It moves all of them around, but that's okay. We'll work with it. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. I see that all these circles are directly above each other, so I might dimension between all of them, but right now I think I'm just going to click and drag them. So I hit escape to stop using my dimension tool. Now I'm just going to click and drag them to where I think they look best. Then of course one pretty low, that's almost around the cup. And I think this looks pretty good. Maybe we have them a little bit spread out at the top, and then they get closer and closer as we get farther down. Yeah, I kind of like the way this looks. Let's drag these a little bit farther down. What I did there was I dragged and select a box over everything, and then I clicked and dragged them all at once. There we go. I think this will look pretty nice. A little bit like that. All right. I'm not too worried about the distance between them, just as long as I have 5 circles and that they're the same distance apart. Then I have this line in the middle. I'm going to hit Finish Sketch. I'm going to hit the Home button. Then I'm going to click the Revolve tool. Now notice this time it did not automatically select my circles because Inventor doesn't know which of my circles I want to revolve. So it's going to start us on this option that says Select Profiles. Click on each of your circles, that way you can have each of your circles selected. Then I'm going to click on Select Axis and click the line here in the middle. There we go, my energy beams are complete. And now our tiny aliens are picking up our little cup. That's all there is for this tutorial. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask Mr. Burston. Your goal for this assignment is to get a total of 5 revolutions. You see that I have 3 over here, so perhaps you could add on some more energy beams, or you could split these energy beams up into different sketches. Regardless, you need a total of 5 revolutions. Have a good day.